We also had a drill program where we drilled about 30,000 metres of drilling because the ore body itself is not closed off. Remembering that our plan, rather than go underground, is to go into restart an open pit, do heap leach SXEW. So we've been drilling around the outside of the open pit, looking at oxide transitional material.
Hello, welcome to Assay TV. Today I'm joined by Barry Cahill, who is the Managing Director of Cyprium Metals. Cyprium Metals are a copper development company with a portfolio of advanced stage exploration and development projects in Australia. Their flagship project is the Nifty Copper Mine on the edge of the Great Sandy Desert in the Pilbara region of Western Australia. Barry, great to see you today. You've just put out a report, a restart study for your reasonably recently acquired Nifty mine. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of the Nifty Copper Mine to sort of set the scene?
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. So Nifty was started or discovered in the 80s and originally under the old Western Mining Corporation, started as an open pit heap leach SXEW and produced about 200,000 tonnes of copper cathode, and then it was bought out by another company, Straits Resources, who continued on doing the SXEW copper cathode production, and then it went underground onto a sulphide ore body. A concentrator was built and it produced concentrate from about 2003 to when it was put on care and maintenance in November of 2019. It was at that point an underground operation. It ran into some operating difficulties and wasn't sustainable, so it was shut down. And then, of course, we purchased it in March of 2021.
So in the past year, what work have you been doing to sort of get it ready for a restart and then produce this restart plan?
Basically, we've got onto site. We took over the site. It's still on care and maintenance, so we were maintaining the care and maintenance items around, power and water and things like that. But we also had a drill program where we drilled about 30,000 metres of drilling because the ore body itself is not closed off. Remembering that our plan, rather than go underground, is to go into restart an open pit, do heap leach SXEW. So we've been drilling around the outside of the open pit, looking at oxide transitional material, reviewing all the infrastructure on site, coming up with refurbishment plans, costings, engineering around moving parts of the plant around, looking at the geotechnical aspects of a larger open pit, all that sort of stuff that you do to get ready to mine. And we finished it all and come out with our restart study, and now we're moving into the finance process. So bloody busy in 12 months.
Absolutely. And tell us a little bit about some of the sort of economic highlights of the restart plan. I mean, you mentioned that it had sort of shut down when it ran into some difficulties, but you've obviously sort of spruced things up a bit and come out with some new economics. Tell us about those.
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, the oxide part of the pit was never finished. So the old, or it's not old, but the SXEW on care and maintenance is where we're going to refurb. We're going to get heap leach going again, and we're going to produce copper cathode at a rate of about 25,000 tonnes per annum. Cash flow 80 to 100 million per annum, Aussie dollars. It's just the phase one, which just deals with the oxide, not the sulphide, is 6.3 years. C1 costs $1.91, C3 282 Aussie, payback in 3 years. And then once that 6.3 years is done, we go down into the sulphide and do the same thing. Mine life goes for 20 years. But again, all open pit. At this stage, not intending to use a concentrator. There's a 2.8 million tonne per annum concentrator there. At this stage, not meaning to use that. But if we need to, it's available. And very, very cheap on the capital side. It's 149 million Aussie on the capital side, where a project like this generally costs 400 to 600 to build new. So really, really lucky to have the infrastructure around us. So all go at the moment.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned sort of 282 USD on the C3 cost, but the copper price at the moment, just remind our viewers.
It's over 450. We basically went in at about $4 on our lot, so 9,000 US, but it's well over 10,000 now. So really heavily leveraged against copper price. So if we use a $10,000 copper price US, it adds 200 million to the cash flow for the 6.3-year life. So really strong leverage to copper price.
Fantastic. And I understand you've done some work around the sort of looking at some of the metallurgy of the project and some of the old historic heap leach pads, going back in there and seeing if you can get some more copper out of them. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the work done there?
Yeah, certainly. So, as I said, 200,000 tonne of copper cathode's been produced from the site already. And when the heap leach was built, they had various issues with it. A lot of it to do with agglomeration. So what the agglomeration does allows the fluid, the acid, if you like, to percolate through. There were agglomeration issues. There were issues around acid consumptions and things like that. Although the original test work quite strongly showed that over 90% recovery in the laboratory was available, it never really got transferred to the field. And part of our expertise and our intellectual property is transferring that knowledge from the lab to the field. So we've gone back into the lab, we've done a heap of work and we've proven those recoveries. We've fixed up the agglomeration issues, so there's good permeability. We've done it in a 6 metre high column, so we're not seeing the compaction and reduction in permeability. And we've achieved recoveries of 85% copper from that retreated material, which brings it to about a 95% overall recovery. So really positive results, good clean liquor. Right now we're optimising on reduction of the acid and other reagents, which is going really well. So, and again, as I said, that's sort of where our intellectual property sits, if you like, around heap leach metallurgy. So all that's going really well, which makes it, again, much more profitable.
And also, I mean, so you can really start producing copper without actually mining a single tonne.
Yeah, you can, but for flexibility purposes, we're actually going to move into the open pit. So we run heap leach open pit side by side because the open pit material is obviously higher grade, so you get copper quicker than the low grade. But there's a scheduling issue there, so we're going to run them concurrently side by side to produce the copper. That gets the pre-strip down and gets us on top of the ore body where the pit is as well.
Fantastic. You've also done some drilling recently, as you mentioned, and you've had some results out. But those recent results haven't been included in the study yet, yeah?
No, they haven't. So the Western drilling was all about around where the inferred resources were, and as you know, under JORC, you can't put inferred resources into a reserve, so they've got left out, even though they're in the pit shell. So we drilled them out to convert some of them. So hopefully we get some conversion there. We also drilled some holes up the southern limb, which hasn't been drilled at all. We got some intersections there. And then we got drilling done to the southeast, which we've only just got assays from. So at the moment, the Southwest review should be available in the next couple of weeks, which we'll publish, and we expect to see at least an upgrade of inferred resource to indicated, measured, and so on and so forth within the pit shell. And then after that, which probably won't end up being until June, maybe a bit later, we'll produce the southeast results, which are extensional. So that's where the ore body's open and it's extending to the east. And then there's obviously other phases of drilling to be done there, but we probably won't get to that till later on in the year to try and close this ore body off, because the ore body's not closed off. And drilling locations are quite difficult because of the terrain at the moment. There's all infrastructure in the way. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the resource comes out and what's changed.
And would you look to do a sort of an updated restart plan on the back of that?
No, we can just intersect the increase in the copper tonnes into the model pretty quickly. That's probably about all we do. It won't be a significant update. Obviously, doing that costs money and you just don't want to keep reiterating things. So the key for us, get those resource estimates out, get the finance done as quickly as we can, and then start to construct.
So, I mean, looking forward at the next sort of steps, you've mentioned there the financing. What stage are you at with raising the finance?
Well, we've got financiers in the data room right now. So they're looking at the data and the models and things like that, and they're due to put in interim or initial term sheets in the next sort of while. So then we'll have a look at those, we'll shortlist and we'll move to finalise. We should be able to announce something firm in early May, I hope. notwithstanding that, we've got Easter and then Anzac Day here in Australia. And, a bit hard to get stuff done then. But and then all the documents done prior to the 30th of June. And that's looking very positive at the moment. Then concurrently with that, we're going through the amendments to our environmental permitting, which also is going really well. We've submitted most of that, and we've had some exchanges with the government on more information, which means that they're being considered. And in fact, one of the approvals we've already got back positively approved. So we expect over the next little while, slowly but surely, they'll all come in, and all the timing will align for that June 30, and away we go 1st July.
Absolutely. And post financing, what sort of construction do you need to do in order to get the mine ready for a restart? You mentioned you've been on care and maintenance, so.
Yeah, we've already started a lot of it. So the accommodation work's already underway. So we're basically refurbing the accommodation. It's all there, but it's a bit old, so we're bringing it up to standard. So that'll be done. Then we've got things like the refurb. So we've pipes, valves, pumps, and things like that to refurb. We've got 4 big items to purchase order, which are replacement items, and they're due for delivery prior to Christmas. So that's all on target. And then there's the construction of new heap leach pads and the pre-strip of the open pit, which will start early next year. So everything's basically online. We'll be commissioning through the first half of next year, and then full production starting second half of next year. So into it. So really quite quick. As I said, it's only a refurb and 4 major items of new plant, and that's it. The rest, as I said, pipes, valves, pumps, polish up, refurb, bit of concrete and a bit of steel. That's it.
So a busy year ahead for you, but thank you very much for that update and those details on your restart plan. We look forward to hearing more from you as the plan progresses over the next few months and over the next year. But thank you very much, Barry, for joining us today for this update.
No worries. Thank you.